This is the plaintiff, Angelina Thomas. She says she hired the defendant to cater her big 30th birthday party, and the food she tasted prior to hiring him was not the same quality of food he served. That's right, he pulled a fast one on her. She didn't get what she paid for, and she wants a refund because her party was ruined. She's suing for $500, the amount she's owed. This is the defendant, Ernest Jackson. He says he was cooking the food for the plaintiff's party when he received a call from the store he purchased the chicken from saying the food was recalled due to a freezer problem. He didn't want to serve bad chicken and risk people getting sick, so he had to scramble and buy new chicken. Bottom line, he provided delicious food for the plaintiff's party, provided exceptional service, and deserves to be paid in full. He's accused of chickening out.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that she hired the defendant to cater her big 3-0, and the defendant served inedible chicken, so she wants her money back. Now, the defendant says he provided a delicious meal to the plaintiff's guests and deserves every penny he was paid. It's the case of chickening out.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Thomas.
Hi.
You are suing Fat Daddy-O's Soul Food and Catering for a $500 refund that you want because, according to you, the service that you got was not what you signed up for. Tell me what happened.
So on April the 12th, I reached out to Ernest asking if he could cater my party. And he agreed later on to cater the party. We had to meet up for his food tasting first to see.
And what kind of party was this?
It was my 30th birthday party. I mean, and I hadn't had a party since I was like 9 since then. So it was a pretty big deal for me.
Okay.
So, so I met with him at a food tasting on the 16th, and the food was amazing. When I tell you, it was the bomb. He had sauteed broccoli with like a garlic butter sauce. The salmon was very delicious with a honey glaze over it. It was pan-seared. It was just amazing. And so I felt comfortable at that time hiring him for my event. He told me that he's been in business over 20 plus years. And so he had a lot of experience in it. So that was another reason why I felt comfortable.
How many people were you having?
80 to 100 people.
And how much was he charging you?
He was charging me $1,500.
Okay. So tell me what happens that night.
Okay, so I was getting my makeup done between like 4:30 and 5 o'clock, and he called me at that time while I was getting my makeup done to tell me about the recall on the chicken. And he said that he had to go with a different vendor. I'm like, okay, so are you going to still be able to provide the service that you said that you can give to me? And he said, yes. Don't worry, I'll just be a little bit late.
What time was he supposed to get there?
He was supposed to get there between 5 and 5:30 with the rest of my other vendors. Everybody knew they had to be there by 5:30, and I explained that to him at the tasting as well because the venue did not give us much time to set up. So I said...
The party was starting at what time?
At 6 o'clock.
Okay.
It was from 6 to 10.
Okay.
And I asked him to be there on time because I provided my guests with a cocktail hour. So I needed the hors d'oeuvres to be there and the wine and champagne.
Tell me about
that.
Was he providing the wine and champagne?
Yes. During our contract agreement, when I was signing the contract, the day of the contract, we talked about the food that he would be providing, and he also said that he would do wine and champagne on all 13 tables.
1 bottle of wine and 1 bottle of champagne on each table?
On every table.
Okay, but during the cocktail hour, did you have a bartender?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so he wasn't like doing the cocktail hour. That was more for dinner, right? The bottle of wine and the bottle of champagne?
Well, it was supposed to be for the cocktail hour, but they can still have more for dinner.
Okay.
And then he showed up maybe like an hour and a half after
what time
I
did
arrived.
What time did he show up?
Between 6:30 and 7.
Okay. Your guests were supposed to start arriving at 6?
Yes.
All right. So he shows up, and tell me how the food was.
The food was not what I received at the tasting. The plate that I received, the chicken was, first of all, a chicken breast. It was supposed to be a leg quarter. And the chicken was hard on the outside, under-seasoned, and then on the inside, it was pink. So also the rice pilaf, it was supposed to be like with some broth on it with vegetables. As it was at the food tasting, he did not present that there.
What did he present?
It was dried rice. And then also he served a sweet potato that was extremely dry with no butter, no brown sugar to coat with it, none of it to dress it.
Had the sweet potato been at the tasting?
No, but he told me this is what he was going to provide for me. We went through the entire list of things that he was going to provide on that day.
And what about the broccoli?
The broccoli was not there. He did not provide it at all.
Did you bring any of this up to him that night?
I told him I am displeased.
That night?
That night. And I told him we'll talk about it after the party. I did not want to get into it that day.
When did the champagne and the wine arrive?
That arrived about an hour and a half before my party was over.
So when he came, he didn't have the champagne and the wine?
No, it was not presented on the tables at all. So then I told him that I was displeased about that as well. And I was not pleased about the string beans. It was supposed to be fresh. It was canned. Our skewers was very, to me, cheap looking. Because
what made them cheap looking?
It was some really thick cheeses and something that you can get at Aldi's. And so also with the sliders, the beef and chicken sliders, instead of him getting slider buns, he cut out breading to put on the sliders. It was very distasteful looking. So on the day of the party, I told him I was not going to get into it. So after that, I called him literally the day after, and I explained to him my rundown, what I was displeased of. And I said, as compensation, can you please provide me $500 of the $15 that I paid you, because I did not feel like that you gave me the service you told me that you could at my tasting. So then he says, well, I told you when I started this that I was not going to receive much profit from it. I just wanted my name out there. I said, you've been in business 20 plus years. Your name should be out there already. And you gave me a fee. I didn't tell you how much to charge me. So
who's the lady with you?
This is my best friend, Tiffany, since 5th grade.
Was Tiffany there at the party?
She was at the party and the food tasting.
So, were you at the food tasting?
Yes.
How was the food tasting?
The tasting was good. The food was really good. It was odd to me that he came to the tasting without everything that she asked for. And even the preparation at the tasting was different from what she asked for, but we ended up liking it. So she swapped that out for the party, but then when we got to the party, it wasn't what she asked for again.
Okay, so you agree with her that it wasn't what you had tasted at the food tasting?
Yes.
How was it different?
First off, the chicken that she asked for was different. Those pieces that we got at the party were big. They were what some would say raw or undercooked in the middle. The salmon that we got at the tasting was supposed to be pan-seared with a glaze on it. I tried the salmon at the party. It was dry, and I'm a salmon eater, so it appeared to me that it was baked. There was no glaze. The sweet potatoes that he forgot at the tasting were there. At the tasting, I actually asked him how they would be prepared and served, and he said, like traditional sweet potatoes, how we would normally eat them with butter, brown sugar, that type of thing. And when we got there, they were big sweet potatoes cut in half in a pan.
Okay. Let me hear from you, Mr. Jackson.
She told me, we talked about the party and everything, so I asked her, I said, well, how much is your budget? Do you have any ideas for your menu, and how many people? So she said, well, I only can afford 1,500 at the moment. I said, okay, how many people? She said, about 80 to 100 people. I said, okay. I said, well, this is what I can do. Because I know you, and you're a nice young lady and everything, I will do this event for you. I won't make no profit out of it, because due to COVID, it was bad for the hospitality industry. So I need to get my name back out here. So I said, I would do this and not worry about no profit.
You said that to her before she hired you?
Yes.
Do you have a contract with her?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see it?
There you go.
So the menu are beef sliders, chicken sliders, barbecue meatballs, antipasto skewers, garden salad, broccoli with garlic butter, sautéed smoked green bean, rice pilaf, baked sweet potato, roasted garlic chicken quarters, white and dark, salmon with honey lemon sauce, sweet red and champagne. And what happens that day? What happened?
When I was prepping to start cooking the food and everything, I had got a call from the place that I had bought my chicken from. the lady explained to me that they had a mishap at the business where the power went out. So any food that was bought, they had to return their food back. So I went and got some more chicken so I can be able to cook. The thing was, it wasn't supposed to be a leg quarter. It was supposed to be a whole chicken cut into 4.
Okay.
So when I did that, I was able to get there on time and get the chicken seasoned and prepped.
Did you serve quarters like the
served-
contract says, or did you serve chicken breast?
I served chicken breast and chicken quarters. It was a whole quarter. Where basically you take the chicken, split it down the middle. And then
You know,
split
it just
again.
says roasted garlic chicken quarters. That's all it says. It doesn't say some people will have this and some people will have that.
No. So
all right. So,
it was
and
white.
according to you, it was all breast?
A lot of it was breast, and he
Okay.
did have some quarters.
Okay. So
And-
what
and
happened
she
though? You
knew
got
that we
there how
talked on the
late?
phone.
You got there how late? You
So-
were supposed to be there between 5 and 5:30. What
So
time
when
did you
I first
get there?
made it there, it was about a little bit after 5:30, I think.
So you got there on time.
Yeah, I got there on time. She wasn't there when I got there. So I left my service there and had them passing the hors d'oeuvres out while I went to eat the rest of the food. And I made it back with the rest of the food. She had just made it there when I had made it there. So I set the food up. I tempted again.
I think she had been there before that. But so you drove there and what? Dropped off staff and hors d'oeuvres.
I dropped the staff hors d'oeuvres and half of the food.
Okay.
Then I went back to my home to get the rest of the food.
How far away is your home from the venue?
About 5 minutes from the venue.
Okay. So you go back and then you show up at what time after that?
So I showed up like about 6:10, 6:20, I believe.
Okay. So then how was the food? Because I'm hearing from 2 people that, you know, what you cooked for one person was, or 2 people was mighty tasty, but what you cooked for 80 was dry.
It was not dry. I have a video showing when I was cooking. I cooked the food.
Okay.
Did you just press it?
Yeah, just press.
Hey.
Okay. Okay, they're right on the sweet potatoes. They're just like kind of thrown in there. There's nothing to.
So with the,
But you're, I looked at the salmon. The salmon had juices on it or some kind of sauce. The chicken, there was both white and dark meat, and it also had. So I don't know how it tasted. I can't taste it on the video, but I can see what is going on now. What happened? You forgot the broccoli?
yeah. I
Okay,
think I
you
did.
forgot the broccoli.
I think I
You
did
didn't bring
forget,
the
but
wine
I
end of
put-
it, but it was exceptional service.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
well, to me, the service was exceptional. You know, it's like for instance, like at the beginning, when her fiance came to me about her food, he said, "Can you fix her plate?" I said, "Are you sure you want her plate right now because she's dancing and having a good time being with her friends and everything?" He said, "She fit sit down and eat." So I said, "Okay." So I fixed their plate. And then I waited a second. I said, let me make a video of the food because I forgot to make my video. And in the video, that's not capture her dancing because she never sat down when he got the food. She didn't sit down until 45 minutes later. So her food wound up getting cold.
But she's not asking for $500 back because her food was cold.
Well, that's what she explained
She's
to
saying
me.
that it was undercooked, and
Well,
she's
I
saying that
temp-
it didn't taste like the tasting.
Well-
Did she complain that night? Was she upset that night?
So she was upset that night. She was telling me that her food was cold. That's what she was upset about. And she asked me about the champagne and the wine. The young lady that I had to bring me the champagne and the wine, she did not show up. So what I did, I went to the store myself and got the champagne line. And the champagne and the wine was not for for wine tasting or anything like that. It wasn't. She didn't say it was gonna be for dinner. She just said that.
Yeah, but she didn't expect you to come with it an hour before the party's over. Like that was, in fact, you didn't even realize that you forgot the broccoli and forgot the wine and forgot the champagne. I wouldn't call this exceptional.
Well, I didn't forget about the wine and champagne. I just knew that the young lady was bringing it.
Yeah, but when
And
was she
she
going to
did-
bring it? The
she
party
was-
was,
she
it was
was-
supposed, it should have been on the tables before people got there or when people are getting there. And it wasn't on the tables till when?
It didn't until I went to the store and got it. That was like
Right.
about
So,
an hour
so,
after I
so,
got there.
so you forgot the broccoli, you forgot the champagne, you forgot the wine. You remedied that by bringing the champagne and the wine mighty late. According to her, you were late. Were servers there with the hors d'oeuvres for the cocktail hour?
No. He brought them with him. When he came, they came. So they were all late.
Welcome back to the People's Court. This case all has to do with chicken that was supposed to be served for the plaintiff's big 30th birthday party. The question, who is El Pollo Loco? Let's go back into the courtroom and find out.
Do you think she's entitled to anything back? Because wait, hold on one second. It's not her fault or my fault if you truly quoted this with no profit. That's your fault because that was something you decided to do. So I don't care how much profit you made or didn't make. That was your choice when you quoted it at whatever you quoted it at. Here is my question. If she is quoted $1,500 and you show up late, you forget stuff that's on the items, is she entitled to anything back in your estimation?
In my estimation, I don't think she's required. She should get anything back for some fact. One, to say that the food wasn't appealing, the food was appealing. And the food that's supposed to be hot, I tempt the food before I even serve the food to get the temperature on there, to make sure there is a right protocol. And about the wine.
All right, I'm going to order a refund. It's not going to be quite as much as you're asking for. I'm going to order a $250 refund in favor of the plaintiff because I think that there were things that you forgot or you did wrong, just like you feel that there were things that you forgot or you did wrong. But I don't believe that a 33% refund is appropriate under the circumstances. So $250, verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
The plaintiff wanted $500. She's only getting $250. She may not be happy with that, and you're not happy with it either, are you?
I'm not happy with it, but, you know, I did forget some things.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, she was very disappointed. She missed the broccoli. She didn't like the cut of chicken. Although I would think chicken breast would be preferable.
Well, the only reason...
but if it's cold, then it's no good.
You remember, it wasn't cold. It was hot.
All right. Well, good luck to you. All right. Thank you very much. Sorry you had a disappointed customer this time. All right. Very good. All right. Ms. Thomas, if you'll step out here. I mean, I know you were very good at describing. Step over here a little bit.
Sorry.
You know, you were unhappy with the food and everything. But in the chicken breast, wouldn't that be the best to have?
No, not cooking for that large amount of people because it'll take a great deal of time to cook that for it to be done. And then he's been pathologically lying this whole time. My family, all of them were displeased. They were calling me several times, even days after the party, telling me how displeased they were about the food.
So all in all, was the party really a bust?
For the food standpoint, yes, but everything else was amazing. Like I said, I hadn't had a party since I was like 9 years old, so I was enjoying seeing all of my family there, just having a good time, and that was really what it was all about.
What's it like being 30?
Beautiful.
All right, thank you very much.
My knees hurt, though.
Okay, very good. Okay. Well, she's semi-happy. How about that, Harvey? What are your thoughts?
Look, Doug, the judge's calculation was not precise, but this is what the judges talked about over and over, doing rough justice to make sure that the party who wins gets what they roughly deserve. Small claims court judges can do that.
I often hear you say that your mother was overprotective and chaperoned you. As a result of this, are you as overprotective of your girls, or do you remember what it was like and are easier on them and give them a little more freedom?
Well, if my eldest was here,
She would say that we kept her locked in a room and beat her with an SAT review book to make her study more or something, right? You'd say something like that.
I would say that as we have 3 daughters, as we went down in the pecking order, we got a little looser and a little looser,
Definitely.
as is typically the case with most parents. So she got the brunt of the strictness, and I don't think I was anywhere near as strict as my mother. That
doesn't even compare. That's why our oldest is really tough, but not quite as tough as you. But anyways, when I was a kid, you could, ride your bike and disappear for hours at a time.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't do that.
It was very different.
Yeah.
So, but nowadays, I don't know.
I think I was actually, in that regard, I was definitely more strict than my parents were, because I remember playing outside and being outside for hours.
Right.
And she wasn't always watching me while I was outside. I was paranoid because I was a prosecutor and I knew what could happen, and I wouldn't let the kids walk down the block until they were a lot older.
That was a consequence of having parents who were prosecutors, because it's like we we didn't have to look for monsters. We knew that every person that you looked at
It's
was
a potential monster trying to take my child.
Right.
And, yeah.
And they're presumptively,
Yeah.
bad until
Right.
we say otherwise.
Right.
So I guess they had to suffer the brunt of that.
Yeah.
But you weren't at the dance like your mom was, separating kids.
Make
and
room for Jesus.
Right.
No, I wasn't
pushing
doing
kids
that.
apart when they got too close, slow dancing, right?
No.
So it was a little bit different, not quite as overprotective, right?
Right.